All right, so now let's transpose the melody. Now this is probably the most difficult part. Sometimes, once you get better at an analysis, it's kind of easy to analyze a song and move it into other keys. Sometimes the melody can be a little bit tricky, but there are some tricks. One thing you can do is you can just use your ear, all right? And now using your ear is fine, but the thing is it's also kind of unreliable. You might think it should go here and it really goes there, so on and so forth. Or if you don't really know the melody that well. And then the thing is, when you start talking about learning 50, 60, 100 songs, it's difficult to really remember those melodies all of the time. So understanding what scale degree the melody starts on is fantastic. In fact, a little history lesson, there would be books that would have lead sheets that just have the chord symbols or even just the analysis, and it would say like a number, and that was the number of where the melody would start. So in this, you see that it says S3. That means scale degree 3. So imagine if the C, A minor, D minor wasn't written. You just saw 1, 6, 2, 5, and underneath it said S3 or just plain old 3. That means that you play a C major chord, and then the melody would be starting on the third. Now in this case, it would start 2 beats earlier. But anyway, so it might say 3, 4, and then 5 with the 1 chord there. All right. So you have 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3. Okay, now you can keep going. 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5. Okay. So if you're going to transpose it into a new key, you have to think about the key that you're moving into, that scale. So in the key of F, there's your F major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay. So if I started on 3, it'd be 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3. Okay? So you can see you can start to do it by ear, you can start to do it by scale degree as well. All right? So whichever is easier for you. Now, adding that on to 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. So now I'm playing I Could Write a Book in the key of F. And then 5, scale degree, 5, 5, 7, 1, 5, 1, sharp 1 diminished, 2, 5. Okay? So you can start to move this into a new key. Right? Like I said, I would try just doing the first 8 measures if you found this lesson to be confusing. There's a lot of real difficult stuff in this lesson to understand first time around. So if you found it confusing, just focus on the first 8 measures of the song. In fact, try doing it in more than one key. Let's say we're going to do it, the key of B flat. We were working in that key before. So it starts 3, 4, 1. And if you want, another way in which you could do is do your chord shell, so just root 7 and then do the third in the melody. Oops. And you can move on from there, see if you can try doing it. Where we go here. Sorry, should we? So moving to the 5, right? You can start to reharmonize and whatnot, like I've talked about in other lessons, but kind of diverging here. Try and stay straight to it. Like I said, focus on the first 8 measures. Just do those 8 measures. If you can move on, great. Do just the chords. And then do shells in the left hand. You don't even have to do anything more than just a shell. It's just root 7. Okay, forget even adding in the third. Ah. You can see that's one thing when I'm doing this scale degree stuff, that's still confusing for me. For me, I find it easier just a lot of times to do it by ear. Oh, and by the way, in that section right here where it says C major 7 or 1 major 7 and then a 5, well, what I'm doing is I fill that in with 1, 6, 2, 5, rather than just having it go 1 and then 5 for the second measure. So when you see a section like that, now that you understand more about analysis and see these patterns of, oh, 1, 6, 2, 5, well, you can start to fill that in, okay? That's where this analysis also helps out, because when you're used to seeing 1, 6, 2, 5, and now they've taken out the 6 and the 2, and they just have 1 and 5, well, as long as it will work with the melody, then you can add that back in, okay? All right, so that's transposing the melody. Like I said, do the first 8 measures. Try doing it in at least 3, 4, or 5 different keys. If you can, do it in all 12 keys, okay? But even if you do 4 or 5, that will be enough. Pick keys that you're also comfortable with and uncomfortable with. So like maybe doing it in the key of F sharp or in the key of E or A flat, whatnot, right? Now, see in the last chapter, we're going to talk about choosing improv scales. So I'll see you in a minute.